What first of all was your reaction when you heard of the announcement?
The only element of surprise I felt was it was so early in the morning. I got the call at about 20 after 5. I'm not surprised at the Pope's decision. Uh, I've watched the Pope's health decline over the last little while. He's an extremely courageous man to take this. Father Lombardi said a little while ago in the Holy See press office, this is an act that reflects great freedom. The Pope is not accountable to a CEO or a boss of any kind. He's decided after careful discernment, careful reflection, that he's not able to conduct the ministry as he should, because what's required is energy, health, all kinds of other things, and the challenges have become so great. So he took this decision with much grace, with peacefulness, and I think it's a great gift to the Church, and it really fits in to the tremendous teaching ministry that's marked his pontificate these past 8 years.
The pontiff remarked that, and other analysts, Vatican analysts, have been remarking that, this is a very different time for the Church. This is a time when popes have to travel. They keep a very busy schedule. This pope is no different. He has kept a very, very busy schedule. So is this just the new age? Do you think we're going to see more of this happening, where when popes become of a certain age, health will restrict them from their ministry?
What we are witnessing through this decision is the Church entering a new era. You pointed it out several times today in your different newscasts, that what's required for this ministry, obviously, first and foremost, is holiness of life. The Pope is, first of all, a spiritual leader, an exemplar of holiness. But what's also required to take this message of the Church to the ends of the earth is a certain energy, a certain stamina, someone who's able to do this and not burdened with issues of aging and health. So I do think this will factor very much into the election process in the Sistine Chapel.
Mm-hmm. And we know that when Cardinal Ratzinger was first elected, that it was seen at that time as to be an interim measure, if you will, because of his age. He was not a young man when he was elevated to Pope. What do you think the cardinals will look for in their next successor?
The cardinals will look for someone of the degree of holiness of Pope Benedict, of the stamina and courage of Pope John Paul II, of the wisdom of Pope Paul VI, of the paternal love of John the 23rd, of the smile of John Paul I. What they're looking for is someone who will take Jesus Christ and bring him to the world, someone who will hold the Church together with all of the different tensions, someone who will be aware of the great challenges facing the Church at this moment in her history, challenges that aren't just our issues in North America, as Cardinal Collins pointed out a while ago, but the great issues that the Church faces, issues of what Pope Benedict called moral relativism, the dictatorship of relativism, the great struggles, the persecuted Church. The era of martyrdom is by no means over. There are Christians losing their lives by the minute in different parts of the world because of their faith in Jesus. All of these factors are part of the portrait that the cardinals will look for in the new leader.
And, you mentioned holding the Church together, and that's quite insightful because, the Church has seen some big challenges. There have been some scandals, and there are also some parishioners who have wandered away, if you will, from the message. How does a new pontiff engage the youth? I know you were very active in bringing Youth Day, World Youth Day here. Pope John Paul II was very engaging with the youth. Is that something that needs to happen again?
Certainly on the point of World Youth Days, it's become one of the most powerful instruments of the new evangelization. It's part and parcel of the teaching office of the Church, of the outreach to young people. It's not the panacea to all the difficulties with young people, but I think a new pope would have a special place in his heart for World Youth Days. And I think the people in Rio who are preparing for the World Youth Day in July will be very surprised by having a dynamic person come to them and bring the message of the gospel and the story of the Church to them. So World Youth Days are one part of it, but also an outreach to other religions, an ability to connect faith and reason, an ability to deal with the world of politics and government leaders. The Church doesn't exist just for itself. The Church exists for the world. The Church has something to offer the world, and its leader is an important figure. He's a leader among world leaders.
Is this a good time for the church to have this kind of change?
Any time is a good time for change. I think when we look back over the history of the church, especially in recent history, we see that John the 23rd went for his stroll in the garden in 1959 and said, it's time to call an ecumenical council. There are those who said now is not the right time. My point is, if not now, when? And if not now, who? If not us, who? And Pope Benedict came to us at a specific moment in history after a long pontificate of John Paul II. Pope Benedict followed a rock star. Pope Benedict had no intentions whatsoever to imitate that. He built on the foundations of John Paul II, and he brought us Jesus Christ, magnificent teaching, simplicity, extraordinary humility, and bold courage. And we see that courage enacted today in an extraordinary way.
Let's talk about some of the successors and who the cardinals might choose. And already we have Cardinal Marc Ouellet from Quebec being mentioned, and we have Peter Turkson from Ghana. What can you tell us about, first of all, Marc Ouellet?
I know both people that you mentioned. You see, there are 117 eligible candidates when they enter the conclave. The statistics just came out from the Vatican. By the time the conclave starts in early March, there will be 117 candidates. Of those candidates, there are some who have been functioning, working on a world stage, who've been addressing some of the great issues of our times in their local dioceses, as in the case of Cardinals Turkson and Ouellet. They brought those gifts to serve the See of Rome, working in the Vatican. Both of them are great figures. Cardinal Marc Ouellet is known and loved to many of us in Canada. I know him very well. A friend, a pastor, a leader, and one who occupies a very complex role in Rome. He knows the challenges of the church, and he knows the type of pastor that's needed for those challenges, because he's the prefect of the Congregation of Bishops. Cardinal Peter Turkson from Ghana, who's got Toronto roots, by the way, his family lives here. Cardinal Turkson comes from Africa. The church, the new church, the church of the Acts of the Apostles, the church that's growing by leaps and bounds. He's the cardinal overseeing the work of justice and peace in the church. And there are other cardinals from Africa as well. We had one here in Toronto last week, Cardinal John Onayekan from Nigeria. We have cardinals from Asia. We have some European cardinals that are very good candidates. We also have some in North America, functioning in North America, that are very good candidates. What I'm confident is this: the Lord will provide. The church is not rudderless. The church is not thrown into some kind of a period of turmoil. The church goes forward, and the Lord provides at the appropriate moment.
All right. Father Rosica, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.